Hey everyone, today I'm talking about the topic of romance for INFJ personality types and INFP personality types. This video does include both of those personality types, so everything I'm about to say applies to both INFJs and INFPs. Now the title of this video is Are INFJs Aromantic?, which might seem like a little bit of a strange title for a video. However, I have worked with so many INFJ personality types and INFP personality types, and I can tell you this is a question I get quite a bit. I get many questions about love, romance, sexuality, and intimate relationships for INFJs and INFPs, because it appears that INFJs and INFPs, just like in many other areas of life, we tend to struggle in these areas and also do things a little bit differently, approach these areas a little bit differently. So I get a lot of emails and messages that ask, I do this, is this normal? I feel this way about romance, is this normal? I feel this way about romantic relationships, is this normal? One of the questions I get is, are INFJs and INFPs aromantic? And usually when I get this kind of email or message from someone, they're very confused because they say, I personally feel like I have a strong sense of romance. If I'm interested in someone, if I love someone, I want to do little things for them. I want to show them how deeply I know them. I want to really think about a special gift to get them. I want to do lovely things for them that make them feel encouraged and supported and just in general loved in life. However, when I look out, when I watch romantic movies, when I'm online and I'm reading dating guides, or I'm on a dating site, or I'm observing in some way the mainstream idea of romance, that's where I feel the disconnect. That's where I feel like, maybe something is off with me or something is wrong with me because I don't connect with this mainstream idea of romance. So this is very common. INFJs and INFPs both may reject traditional romance. Traditional romance is what you're supposed to do for a romantic partner or what you're supposed to do in a romantic relationship. I remember years ago, I had this very same experience. I was living in San Francisco at the time. This was probably 10, 15 years ago. And I saw that for Valentine's Day, this restaurant was doing sort of like a special promotion for Valentine's Day. So you could pay one price and you would get dinner at the restaurant, and then they would give you a rose to give to your date or your partner. And they'd give you a card, and all you had to do was write the person's name in on the card, and then you'd get a box of chocolates. So it was this whole package deal. And anybody who paid the price, like, $65 or $100 or however much it was, would get all of these things. And I just thought, that makes me so sad. That doesn't sound romantic to me at all. There was nothing personal in it. It was, you pay one price, you get the dinner, you get the card, you get the rose. All you have to do is write their name in it. And to me, that felt very unromantic. To me, I thought, I would rather have nothing, and I would rather do nothing on Valentine's Day than be taken out by somebody or take somebody out and buy this package deal where I'm writing their name in on a slot and everything's pre-planned and everything's pre-written and there's nothing personal about it at all. And I've heard from many INFJs and INFPs who will say, I don't really care for Valentine's Day, either because it feels like it's impersonal and it's a marketing opportunity for big companies and I don't like that, or it's sort of pushing this idea that everyone should be partnered and everyone should have one partner and your partnership should look a certain way. And I don't like that either because it makes people feel left out if they are single or they're not partnered at that time or they don't want a partner, right? And so I know a lot of INFJ personality types and a lot of INFP personality types have told me, I've shifted into, instead of seeing Valentine's Day as a couple's day, seeing it as a love day, spreading love between friends, spreading love between one partner, or maybe you're polyamorous and you have many partners, or just spreading love in general. That's a concept that resonates much better with INFJs and INFPs, something that is individualized and something that includes all people instead of making people feel bad or excluded because, maybe they don't have a partner on that day. So that's kind of how we approach the entire idea of romance. The truth is we're actually very romantic people. We usually keep it hidden. I will say I feel that INFJ personality types keep it a little bit more hidden than INFPs. I've noticed INFPs tend to feel a little bit more comfortable wearing their love on their sleeve, wearing their heart on the sleeve. INFJs can be a little bit more stoic. However, if you get to know someone of either type very deeply, you will quickly find out we are very romantic creatures. It's just that we don't buy into the cultural narrative. So the traditional rom-com movie, while we might enjoy, watching it just to veg out for something to do, but the ideas put forth in that traditional romantic comedy, those aren't going to be the same ideas that we apply to our actual romantic lives. To us, we really value individual people. And what we notice with society's idea of romance, a lot of the time, especially with our family and friends, we might see this. It seems like somebody's really looking for someone just to fill that role in their life. They want someone in the partner role. They want someone in the boyfriend role. They want someone in the girlfriend role. And sometimes with people, we get the feeling, well, one person could exit and they'll just pick another person and put them in that role. And they don't really care so much as long as there's some compatibility and there's some attraction, and they can just slide them neatly and nicely into that role, and then they have a partner, right? Then they are one half of a couple, or they always have somebody to take to the company dinner, or they always have somebody to take to a wedding. INFJs and INFPs are very different in that way. We are fine being alone. We are fine being on our own, and we're fine doing a lot of activities on our own. We won't date someone simply to have someone to go to the movies with. We won't find a partner simply because people in our family are pressuring us to find a partner. It doesn't work that way for us. And this was another reason I always thought something was wrong with me when it came to romance, because when I was younger, before I was married, in my early 20s and my late teens, I not only had no problems doing things on my own, I quite liked to do things on my own. I would go out to dinner by myself. I would go to the movies by myself. I would go to museums by myself. In fact, I still do quite a few of those activities by myself. If there's a movie I want to see, it's fine if someone comes with me. Sometimes that's nice, but no one needs to come with me either. I want to go see the movie. That's how I've always felt about things. If I want to eat at a certain restaurant, it's fine if someone wants to come with me, but if no one comes with me, that's okay too. I'll go and I'll have a meal and I'll really enjoy it and enjoy spending the time on my own. I've done this on vacation by myself. And it depends on what part of the country or what part of the world you're in. But sometimes other people will find this very odd. I've been dining alone in a restaurant and had the waitress say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you're alone. Should I bring you some magazines? You must be so bored. Can't you call someone to come meet you?" I had a waitress who was almost frantic for me to get a second person there. And I explained, no, I plan to be by myself. This is okay. I wanted to have lunch with myself. Completely foreign to her. You could see on her face she did not understand it. So this happens quite a bit for INFJs and INFPs. Like I said, we don't want someone to fill the role of partner or fill the role of spouse or lover just to have someone fill that role. We would rather remain alone and happy alone rather than pick someone who we're not totally compatible with or we're not completely attracted to. There's some other mismatch or disconnect that we can feel. That's how we don't really buy into the cultural narrative that we have to be with someone and that if we're not with someone, we must not be happy. That doesn't really apply to INFJ and INFP personality types. For INFJs and INFPs, we must have a true, genuine, emotional connection with someone to experience anything, to experience romance, to experience sexual attraction, to experience what we would call a best friendship, right? We really need a deep bond with people. That is how we do it. That's how we do intimacy and that's how we do relationships. And so when we look around and we see a lot of other people in mainstream society say, especially growing up in high school or college, say, oh, she's so hot or he's so hot or I would definitely date her, I would definitely date him. And we think, but you don't even know that person. you're just looking at their physical appearance. You haven't really talked to them that much. You don't know that much about them. How can you be saying, you know, oh, they're so hot, I would definitely date them, when you don't know them? For INFJs and INFPs, the way we operate, we really need to get to know someone deeply, and then we find ourselves attracted to them. And I've heard from many INFJs and INFPs who will say, I don't notice appearance very much, like appearance isn't very important to me, or I didn't think anything about my partner's appearance, and then I got to know them, and I got to know them well, and I found myself very attracted to them and very attracted to their appearance. This goes also beyond the realm of romance. Many INFJs and INFPs will say, you know, the more I like someone, the more I respect someone's character and their inner being, their essence, the more attractive they physically look to me, whether that's a romantic attraction or not. It might just be a friend or it might be a coworker, but the more I see that someone has a good heart, they have an open mind, they really try to be a fair and just person, they're a very interesting thinker, the more physically attractive they appear. Their appearance looks more beautiful to me, or their appearance looks more handsome to me, and also vice versa. So a lot of times, someone will present as attractive or hot in mainstream society, and because we can see their essence, we're looking past the appearance and we see, ooh, that person's a narcissist, or ooh, that person is so greedy or so self-serving, or they're very manipulative, or they're very cold, they're very shut down. They're calculating, they're using and exploiting the people around them. And in that kind of case, it absolutely does not matter what they look like. To us, they look very unattractive. To us, we will even say, oh, that person seems ugly to me, you know. And the people around us say, what do you mean that person seems ugly? They could be a runway model, you know, or they could be a centerfold model or whatever. And we're like, no, I see the inside. I see their heart, and their heart is cold. And their heart doesn't offer very much to other human beings. It's very disconnected. So we will really see a person's inner workings, their inner essence, and then that affects how they physically look to us. This is so common and such an ordinary state of affairs for INFJ and INFP personality types that most of us don't even notice. We don't clock it, we don't notice it at all. This really comes back to a few different things. Like I said, we can see below the surface. We're so intuitive, and we need to really bond with someone deeply, but part of this is that so many INFJs and INFPs have suffered trauma in our early lives. So we do not trust other people easily, and we have to trust someone before we can experience any level of attraction with them. If we don't trust someone, if we're getting a bad vibe from them, we're not going to be attracted to them. We don't go for the surface level stuff. Someone's status in society, you know, how much money they make, what kind of car they drive, how tall they are, what color hair they have, how much they weigh, like all of those external markers that in mainstream society people make a really big deal about, that this determines a person's level of attractiveness. It doesn't mean anything to us because of our intuition, because we go beyond the surface, because we have those trust issues. So we have to trust first, or else we're not going to be able to get past it. We usually have so much of a deep experience with trauma in our past that our very body, the cells in our body are like, oh, no, 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 I'm getting a bad feeling from that person. And then we can't open up. We cannot open our heart to them. So the takeaway from all of this is if you are an INFJ personality type or an INFP personality type, and you've always felt weird in the realms of romance, sexuality, relationships, dating, it's okay. You are not weird for you. You're not weird for an INFJ or an INFP. We're all pretty much like this. Yes, there's a spectrum. There's definitely a spectrum. And some INFJs and INFPs actually are legitimately aromantic, and they will tell you that. And also legitimately asexual, right? Like that's on the spectrum too. But just know if you're an INFJ or an INFP, you probably are not going to fit in with society's ideas of what constitutes romance, what romance should look like, what a romantic relationship should look like. And one last thing I'll say about this, for INFJs and INFPs, we much of the time do not need physical contact in order to form a romantic connection with someone or in order to enter into a romantic relationship with someone. We're very good at long distance relationships. We're very good at relationships that are in a gray area. So for one reason or another, we cannot physically come together in a sexual union, right? Like we cannot come together in a physical union, in a physical contact sort of way. But we are still able to connect with their heart. We're still able to connect with their mind and with the other person's soul, really. So if we can make a soul connection with someone, that's how we enter into a romantic relationship. And like I said, it doesn't all the time have to be physical. So embrace your version of what works for you. Embrace your version of romance. Get to know that and work with that. And don't worry so much about what the movies say or what the online dating guides say or what you're finding on the online dating sites. That's not for you. That doesn't really apply to you if you're an INFJ or an INFP personality type. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my newsletter. My newsletter is where I send out everything, notifications and updates about new classes, new books I'm releasing, other book recommendations, free resources for intuitive people. I send out so much good stuff over my newsletter, so please make sure you're subscribed. The link is in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Please also like the video, subscribe to my channel. That really helps out the channel. It really helps me out a bunch, and I super appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in today.